Hi there folks, how you doing? Welcome to another flight, and in this flight we're going to be looking to get out of Gatwick and get down to Lisbon. So we've much to learn, and it's another chance to try out the checklist. So let's get on with it then. So we're in the cockpit, and we can basically work our way through the interactive checklist that's available on the website, and you can follow the link below to get to that. So here we go then. Right, so let's start at the top of the checklist. We want to put in our departure. This is just for reference really, so that we've got some sort of record of it when, you know, should we want to look back. And we're going to go down to Lppt. And our transition altitude will be 10,000 feet. And our standard instrument departure for this flight is going to be, bear with me, pin that. So I've got Navigraph open as well on another display, and which is really quite useful to try and figure out some of these things. So our departure will be I move Indigo Mike Victor Uniform 1 Zulu, and I think that's fairly standard, and we're going to be taking off from basically I think 08 right. So yeah, okay. Right, so we're not going to worry about the VORs and stuff because we'll be following, I think it's an RNAV departure. I'm not completely sure, to be honest, but I've got that on. I think I might be able to show you actually. Let's see if I can show you what I'm looking at here because it's quite handy to. There we go. So I've got Navigraph open and I'm looking at that, so that's quite useful to kind of see what's actually going on. Okay, so right, let's get comfortable then and get underway. So right, to start with then, so in the cockpit we're going to make sure that the thrust levers are idle. Check. Engine master switches are all off. Check. Engine mode switch is set to normal. Check. Landing gear lever is down. Check. And parking brake is set. Check. So wipers for both the pilot and co-pilot are both off. And the battery voltages are 25 volts. So we'll take that as good for now. So we can now put batteries 1 and 2 on. Batteries 1 and 2 are on. And we can see some of the alerts starting to come to life as well. Wait for the ground power to become available. Ground power is available and external power is on. All right, so next thing we need to do then is to check if the APU fire test. So I've got to just make sure, bear with me because I think I've got the audio for desktop turned off. So let's have another go. That might be a little bit loud. Bear with me. Okay, that's good. So that's working. And we can now put the APU master on. And then the APU start. Right, now what we need to do is go around the houses and just basically make sure that we've got all the lights, instrument lights set to a reasonable kind of brightness. So we've done the PFD there. We can have the floodlights lit here. It'd be really useful if there was just one button to do that really. So we've got another floodlight here for the instrument panel there. And we've got the Easyjet page floodlights there, or not floodlights, the display lights. And actually what we'll do while we're here is we'll just, because we do this in a minute anyway, but because we're doing the lights, we'll bring to life the backup instruments as well. Okay, so we just checked we've done the MCDU we need to do, so let's bring that up so that we can see what we're doing when we go through that in a minute. Right, MCDU is done, primary flight display is done, navigation display is done, ECAMs, floodlights, lower integral, and we now just need to do the upper integral, which is freedom to zoom, and there we go. Done. Right, so now what we need to do again, we're going to check that the parking brake is on again and that the flaps are up. Speed brake is down disengaged, speed brake is down disengaged, and the pitot heater is on. Nav and logo lights are on, and APU bleed is on. Okay, so overhead left, we want to make sure that the crew oxygen supply is on, and we'll make sure that the navigation is set to nav, and that should bring the navigation to life in about 8 minutes or so. So next thing we want to do is set the strobe lights to auto. Seatbelts are set on, and no smoking are set to auto. Emergency exit is set to arm. Annunciator light test, so we're going to just check that all the lights are actually working on the overhead here, so we're looking for any duff bulbs or anything like that. All seems fine to me, and so we can pop that back down now, and the dome lights are set to dim. Anti-icing wing and anti-icing engines 1 and 2, well, we're not going to worry about that today. Cabin pressure mode is set to off. Cabin pressure mode is set to off. Ditching button is closed. Landing elevation is set to auto, and aircon is set as required. So we'll have it a little bit cooler in the cockpit because we can. Right, moving down then. So we want to make sure that all the packs are on for our passenger comforts while we get everything going. Batteries are charging, so we can go down to the Ecamm pages for that and basically have a look at the electrical page, and we can see that there is a charge, and if I'm really honest, I don't fully understand what's happening there, so we know it's charging, so we'll go back past that. And now we want is fuel pumps are on, and now we're going to check engine 1 for the fire test. Jolly good. And engine 2 for the fire test. Jolly good. Okay, both engines are checked. Okay, electrical panel we can confirm has been checked. Ventilation panel is checked, and no white or amber lights. So we've got a couple of amber lights, but basically they'll come off once the engine starts as well. A couple of checks here we don't need to do. We can check the doors. And so let's just check doors. So looks like the slides are armed. Hydraulics we would check. What we can do is check the engine oil. So oil we have, oil pressure we don't have, because basically the engines aren't started yet. So the next thing we can do is check the flight controls while we're here and just make sure we've got full movement and deflection on all of the primary controls. Excellent, flight controls are checked. Right, now we just need to go over to the flight control unit, or the EFIS, Electronic Flight Management System, or Flight Information System. And what we want to do is to set hectopascals, and we want to check the QNH. Well, we'll set that with B at the moment. It's 1029. And we want to check that both flight directors are on, and we'll check in the primary flight display. Then we have climb, nav, and 1FD2, which is what we're expecting to see there in effect. And what we'll also do is turn constraints on so that we can see those as we take off. So we want navigation set to arc, which we have, and set to 10 nautical miles. VRR and ADF we're not going to set just now, and we want the landing system is checked to off. Okay, speed and heading are both managed, dash dot, so we're right for that. Altitude increments are set for, just check, thousands, and our initial climb stop height will be 3,000 feet here, I think, coming out of Gatwick. I've yet to get my head around all this, but that's basically what I think it looks like at the moment. PFD we've checked, and navigation display we checked, and we've checked, well, we can go over and check the PFD. So what we're expecting to see here is 1029, and we're expecting our stop height at 3,000 feet, and we're about 200 feet off the ground. What we can do here is set the oh, it's already set, so it's taken it from the main, which is jolly good. I thought they were supposed to be independent, the two instruments for the flying there. So that's a good description, isn't it? Anyway, let's move on. Standard ASI we've done, and the clock we can do if we want, and we can turn on the anti-skid, which is already on. That's good. Okay, audio control panel we can go down to, and there we are, that's here. So it's on VHF, and we can't change the intercom at the moment, so we can go all the way through there, or the interphone at the moment. Now the weather radar we can set to weather, which it's already on. Engine switches, so what we're going to do now is bear with me, we're going to go to the overhead here, not the overhead, sorry, we're going to check all the switches here are set to norm on the ECAM switches. Engine check, oil check we've done, hydraulics we can't do, and the status we can check that, and that should say normal. So that's good. Okay, and we'll go back to engine because we'll probably need that first. Right, okay, thrust levers are set idle. So we check this again because we've been moving around the cockpit and it's quite easy to knock things. Engine master switches are still all off. Engine mode selector is set to norm. Spoilers are retracted and disarmed. Flaps are up. Parking brake set on and off, so that works. And we could ATC, we can tune that for both the pilot and co-pilot, and we need to do that. We need to go down and check that the transponder is standby. And back to the weather system, and we can put that to sys1. Okay, so now we need to bring in the flight plan. So we're going to spend a bit of time down here in the MCDU, and first thing we're going to do is go to we're not going to do that. We're going to go back to MCDU and go to ATSU. Let's get this right. Program data init. I always get confused with this about which piece we need to get to. There we go. So it's what I'm trying to do is find out which engines we got and if the navigation database is up to date. So it's Muk2 and then into the top left. So we can see we've got the LEAP engines and the database is actually out of date. So that's, it's worth checking, but we're going to fly with it anyway. So now what we're going to do is load the flight plan. First thing we're going to do is go to flight plan, and we can see we've already got a flight plan in, and that's not going to help us too much at the moment because sometimes our flight plan won't load over the top of it. So what we're going to do is put in EGHF / EGLL and enter that there. And so that's a completely different flight plan now, and that just basically means we stand a better chance of our one that we're going to bring in loading as we expect over the top. So front page of them we're going to go to ATSU, AOC menu, and init request and initial data request. So that's pulled in our flight plan from SimBrief. You can see we've got the basics of the flight plan there, which basically what will have happened is we'll have got the flight plan with just a start and end point. So what we need to go is to init and initial request. And what that will have done is filled in the rest of the flight plan. And we can check there that our departure is Inver, Indigo, Mike, Victor, Uniform, Romeo. So that's what we're expecting. And we can go to the end of the flight plan, and we're going to end up at Lisbon, which again is what we're looking to see. So that's good. So we go click flight plan again. So we're back to the start, and we can then go back to the front page of the MCDU. Right, so we've checked the route, and what we can do here, what we didn't do actually, let's go back to init, and if I go back to my flight plan, our cost index is 12. So we can clear that. So when I say flight plan, that's my flight plan from SimBrief. Cost index is 12, so we can add that there now. So that's jolly good. Right, so, and the flight plan distance, we can make a note of, which is 856 miles. Okay, so, right, passengers. I'm just reading this from my flight plan now, which you can't see, but trust me, it's exactly... as I say. So basically our passengers is 164. Our payload is 17.1. Our fuel is 9.3. Our takeoff weight is 70. These vary a bit because I'm not sure why, if I'm honest. And landing aircraft weight is 64.2. So we've got to be below 64.2 when we land. Well, that's the ideal anyway. So, right, what we're going to do now is go into the MCDU again and ATSU, AOC menu, and performance, weight and balance. And we can request our fuel and we can load that. Okay, so now what we're going to do is go to the weight and balance. Let's just check. So our fuel has come in at 9.36, and I think I said it was 9.3, so I'm happy with that. The fuel is good. Now, to get the weight and balance right, what we're going to do is take the 17.1, which half of that is 8.55. I think, is that right? 8.5? 8.55. Yeah, okay. So what we do is work our way down here, select all here, and delete all the way down to business class, and then we're going to put 8550. And I've got a strange thing where my keyboard doesn't put the first letter in correctly, so we'll copy that, go down to the next one, delete that, and then go back to rear baggage and paste that in there. So now what we can see is we've got 17.1 as our baggage, so we're nicely balanced, and we've got the right amount of fuel, 9.5. Did say 9.3, so but that's fine, we can go with that. And we've got a 22.91 in terms of the Mac there. So right, okay, so we've done the fuel and we've done the baggage as well. Good, we're making progress. So now what we're going to do is press the init page, because what we need to do is to basically do the zero fuel weight. So we do that and we click that twice, and block fuel we call in. Now it's coming at 6.8, so I don't understand how that's wrong. So what we're going to do here is put in our 9.3 and we'll enter that in there. Okay, and so now we have our 67.4 takeoff weight. Okay, so jolly good. And so we've done that, and what we'll do now is go to performance. So we'll scoot through, we're not making any notes in there today, but if you do use the interactive checklist, there's plenty of opportunity to make some notes. So what we'll do is go to performance, and what we can do for this, so these are numbers that I know that I'm going to fly with, so I can put 1 in on the flaps, and we're going to put forward slash up 1.0, and that forward slash will mean it will go in after the initial flap setting. Our flex will be 65%, so we'll pop that in there, and we'll also calculate our takeoff speeds by clicking these once and again to bring them into the MCDU. Jolly good. Okay, so what we need to do now is get the ATIS. So let's go and get in touch with Gatwick ATIS.
Gatwick Airport Information Gulf 1600 Zulu. Wind 062 at 10. Visibility 4. Sky condition. Few clouds at 700 feet. Few clouds at 4,400 feet. Few clouds at 12,100 feet. Temperature 8. Dew point 10. QNH tree 0.36. ILS runway 8 right and visual runway 8 left in use. Landing and departing runway 8 right and runway 8 left. DSR aircraft, say direction of flight. All aircraft read back hold short instructions. Advise controller, on initial contact, you have Gulf. Gatwick Airport
Okay, so that's the main bit that we want in there, is that we've got Golf, so we can now tune to ground services.
Sky condition, few clouds at 700 feet, few clouds at 4,400
And
feet.
that'll keep things a bit quieter.
Temperature 8. Dew point
Well, hopefully it will.
QNH tree 0.36. ILS runway 8 right and visual runway 8 left in use.
Okay, that's it. So right, so we've done that, and now what we need to do, so we've got our initial information, and let's just go back to the flight plan and go to departure, and it will be 08 right. And IM view, and we'll insert that. So that's what we're expecting to see to KK05, KKN09, and I'll show you again where I'm actually looking at that. So you can see the departure starts off KK05, etc. there. So that's good. That all ties in with what we're thinking. And if we go to performance, not performance, flight plan, no, init, initial fuel production, data, so what have I not done here? Transition altitude is 10,000 feet. Thrust reduction is 1,700 feet. That's all good. And no, that's good. So I think we're set up for that really. Check takeoff data. So takeoff data. How did we get to? Okay, so we've confirmed the takeoff data, so that's good. Next phase, climb is managed. Cost index, next phase, cruise, and yeah, next phase. Okay, so we did destination when we get there, and I've got a terrible feeling that I'm missing something, but according to the checklist, we're doing fine. So I can pop down here just so I don't forget. It's 08 right, because you would make a note normally, and the altimeter should be set as is. Right, so now what we would do is contact for clearance, and it would be something like Heathrow Ground, Golf, Foxtrot, Echo, Sierra Tango, stand whatever. We have information, Golf, and QNH of 1029, and request IFR clearance to Lppt. So what we'll do, we'll go back to the radio and we'll give that a go. So we want, go back to clearance, Gatwick clearance, and request IFR clearance.
Gatwick clearance
So
delivery
we've got to say for themselves.
BA7055 Echo Zulu 7601 ready to copy IFR clearance to Lisbon.
BA7055 Echo Zulu 7601 is cleared to Lisbon Airport as filed. Takeoff runway 8 right climb and maintain 13,000 feet. Departure frequency is 118.475 squawk 0107.
BA7055 Echo Zulu 7601 cleared to Lisbon Airport as filed. Takeoff runway
Okay,
right climb and maintain
so we've got
13,000
the
feet.
squawk,
Departure on
and we're happy with that.
118.475 squawk 0107.
BA7055 Echo Zulu
Right, so
7601
now we need to
feedback
set
correct.
the
Contact ground on 121.805.
ground services. Okay, and we'll just pop that up for a minute because we don't need those guys going on for a moment. So standby instruments are checked. So now we've got some more checks to do, and anti-skid is on. Auto brakes are set max. Flaps are set 1. Speed brakes are armed. Flight controls check. Done. Pitch trim is set as up 1. Rudder trim check. Reset. Autopilot not on but ready to go. Auto thrust will come on at the right altitude. Flight directors both on. Instrument landing system is off. Anti-ice set as required. FMU do clean up, so we just want to make sure that's we've got the flight plan ready to go so that we can see where we're going, and that's good. And we would request chocks are taken away, and let's give the cabin crew a bit of a ding. And what we'll do is go over to ground services now and request our pushback. So we need to be looking out the window here, and we'll request pushback. Request pushback, and we can just
Gatwick
quickly
ground BA7055 Echo Zulu 7601
drop in the air.
requesting pushback.
BA7055 Echo Zulu 7601 pushback request accepted.
So we want to steer to the right. Okay,
Gatwick
so
ground
as we're pushing back, then we can go
Echo
back to the
Zulu
checklist,
7601 requesting pushback
and we
to
can
steer
start.
the aircraft to the right.
BA7055
Beacon
Echo
on
Zulu
because we're going to start the
7601,
engine.
your
External
request has been
power
transmitted to the operator.
is off. Engine area is clear. What we need to do is take the brake off, don't we? Must remember to do that, because that's going to wear the tyres for sure. Okay, engine area is clear. Engine mode is set to ignition. Ignition and engine 2 master on. And we'll check the oil pressures. Right, we need to look out the window. And push back straight.
Gatwick ground BA7055
Engine monitors.
Echo Zulu 7601 requesting pushback to push the aircraft straight.
BA7055 Echo Zulu 7601
The pushback
your
isn't going
request has
particularly
been
well.
transmitted to the operator.
Pushback stop.
Gatwick ground BA7055 Echo Zulu
And
7601
brakes are
requesting
on.
the end of pushback.
Engine 2, check the oil.
BA7055 Echo Zulu 7601 request to end pushback received.
Oil pressure increasing, and the M1 and N2 increasing nicely, and we can go engine master 1, 2 on as well. And while that's happening, we'll just make sure that the probe heat is on. I can never find this. Yep, probe heat is on. APU bleed is off. Engine anti-ice. APU master is off. Look out the window because we're an active aircraft now. Check the engine. And coming up nicely. Oh, not sure why that's decreasing. Have I turned the APU off too soon? I think I did. I think I should have waited for... right, so what we're going to do is go back to the overhead and put the APU master on, and APU bleed, and come down here. So in all the excitement, yeah, look, I should have waited until that was full on before I turned off the APU master. Right, so we'll have a bit of patience and wait for this to actually build. Can we get a bit more volume from the engines? There we go. Right, okay, so we're up to speed now. So let's turn off the APU bleed and APU master. Let's just go and check, see what happens to the engine temps. Yeah, so they're stable now. Right, so engines can go back to norm. And APU master is off. Okay, so we now want to tune taxi.
Gatwick ground BA 7055 Echo Zulu 7601 with hotel ready to taxi IFR.
BA 7055 Echo Zulu 7601 taxi to and hold short of runway at right using taxiway Sierra Juliet. Contact tower on 134.23 when ready.
Right, so we just confirm that, acknowledge that. And I just need to have a look.
Taxi to and hold short runway at right using taxiway Sierra Juliet BA 7055 Echo Zulu 7601.
How do I get there then? Okay. Let's tune the tower and we'll make our way to 08 right. So how do we get there then? Sorry about this, folks. Need to just check how to get to the actual runway. Sierra Julia. Okay, so right, okay, I've got it. So we taxi parallel let me show you. I'll pull this up now, and this is where Navigraph comes in so handy. So I'll basically, we're somewhere here, I think. So so we've got a taxi Sierra Juliet. So we're Sierra, come out of Sierra and just all the way along and round, hold shoot at short at Juliet 2. Good. So that's good. So I don't know if we can, don't think that actually overlays onto the, no. Okay, so I'm just wondering whether the map overlays. Right, okay, so what we're going to do is brakes on. In the overhead, nose light set to taxi. Parking brake is off. Pedal brakes release. And we do have a rather annoying truck there, but never mind. We can deal with that. Okay, so flight controls we check, brakes we check, brakes work. Head in, we've got dash dot dash dot. Weather radar we set to on. Engine instruments we check. Engine instruments are good. Nav instruments check. And ready for the departure. So we're leaving Sierra now onto Juliet. Look left, look right. Cabin check. And we're free to taxi now. So our plan is literally to go all the way to the end of Juliet, so that's a bit of a taxi. So why don't we have just a little bit of music while we do that? Right, so while we're doing this, then we could be thinking about what the actual climb out. So our initial climb is to below 2,500 feet, I believe. So that jitters there is where I'm moving one of the instrument panels around. Nicely put there. Picture of a wing. So we get right to the end here. To just touch the brakes a little bit here, and we're going to hold short. I think we will hold short at Juliet, I think here. So, because otherwise we'd be passing under other landing aircraft, I believe. So, okay, so what we want to do now is check the brake temperatures. So come down here to wheels. Yep, all good. Brake temperatures check. Brake fan is off. I'm going to leave that on for the minute. Right, okay, so back in the overhead. So landing lights are on. Runway turn off lights are on. Takeoff config. Is check there. Okay, and so we have I don't know what that is. I've come across that before. I need to make a note of that and do that. That is, so we've got a warning there. Let me just take a snap of that so I can check that. Okay, yeah. Jolly good. Right, okay, and so we're going to go over to the main screen now. I've got a couple of checks to do that are on the checklist, but I think it'd be more beneficial to be able to see out the screen. So takeoff check is done. Takeoff memo is, well, it's not all green, but I don't know what that warning is. Train radar, we don't need to turn it on, but we can check it. I guess we would check for bird strike warnings or anything like that. And we want to just check our departure. So yeah, happy with that. Departure brief is done. A couple more small checks to do. Packs are off to give us maximum power. Strobe lights are on, which we've done already. Nose lights set to takeoff. Transponder set to on. And TCAS set as well. Rudder trim set. And let's get our clearance.
Gatwick Tower, BA 7055 Echo Zulu 7601 at runway 8 right, ready for takeoff Egkk to Lisbon.
BA 7055 Echo Zulu 7601 cleared for takeoff runway 8 right.
Cleared for takeoff runway 8 right, BA 7055 Echo Zulu 7601.
Right, okay, we weren't moving them because I'd accidentally popped it into reverse thrust. It's all a learning curve. Now this might look a bit patchy, but over the last couple of weeks I've actually progressed quite a long way from not having a clue how to get this thing in the air to basically understanding a lot more about it. Okay, so we're now going to go around here. Time to have the sounds off. We are cleared for departure, so we're clear to enter the runway. line up. Do a couple of last minute checks. Okay, park brake on. Right, so we're pretty much ready to go here at Gatwick, and we're going to be on our way down to Lisbon, and exciting. Right, so brakes off, we're on the toe brakes. Thrust is going to go to 40%. We're going to start the chrono. Brakes release. And we'll climb to below 2,500 feet. Okay, coming up on 140. Positive rate of climb. Gear up. And what we're going to do for ease is we're going to
CA7055 Echo Zulu 7601, contact London Center on 118.475.
come back to climb. There we go. So the autopilot's taken over there, keeping us well below 2,500 feet.
CA7055 Echo Zulu 7601, did you copy?
Going to 118.475 BA7055 Echo Zulu 7601.
I've actually got the wrong call sign in there now. I don't know. Because obviously we're flying Easyjet, so we flaps up. Missed that. Right. Okay. So let's go back to the checklist. I would have got that. So check. Landing gear is up. Check. Auto thrust. Speed brakes are retracted. So we F speed, S speed we've done. And on the climb out, we'll do some other checks there as well. Fantastic, look at that. It's good to have a visual check to make sure the air brakes are where we expect them to be. Nice and clean. Quite sure why we've lost the sound there. Okay, let's get back in the cockpit. It's back now. Don't know what happens there. There's honestly so many buttons to press to try and bring all this together. So coming up on our second checkpoint, which keeps us below 3,000 feet, I believe. Right, now we need to tune Gatwick approach, which we probably should have done already. But this is good, this is progress. I mean, I've really struggled trying to get this in the air, and it's almost there, and I think this
Gatwick
is because of the help of my checklist that I've
Echo
got.
Zulu
And
7601 is at 3,000 feet, climbing 13,000 feet.
BA 7055 Echo Zulu 7601 Gatwick approach, continue to KKW 19 as planned. QNH 30.36. BA 7055 Echo Zulu 7601 contact approach on 122.55.
.55 for BA
Right,
7055 Echo Zulu 7601.
in viewer, I should be allowed to climb to 6,300 feet. Take that off screen because that tends to mess up the view a little bit. Even though it slows us down and gives us some micro stutters, it does get in the way a little bit.
2,500.
Yeah, no, it does give quite a bit of stutters, so we'll bring that back. I don't know why we're contacting approach.
Approach BA 7055 Echo Zulu 7601 is at 3,000 feet, climbing 13,000 feet.
2,500.
BA 7055 Echo Zulu 7601 approach, continue to inver as planned. QNH 30.36.
Approach BA 7055 Echo Zulu 76015 miles northeast of Echo Golf Tango Delta. Request IFR to Lisbon, ready to copy.
BA 7055 Echo Zulu 7601 is cleared to Lisbon Airport as filed. Squawk 0107.
BA 7055 Echo Zulu 7601 cleared to Lisbon Airport as filed. Squawk 0107.
BA 7055 Echo Zulu 7601 read back correct. Radar contact 3,900 feet. QNH 30.33 continue to KKN 09 turning and following heading 080 climb and maintain 12,000 feet.
Continue to KKN 09 turning and following heading 080 climb and maintain 12,000 feet. BA 7055 Echo Zulu 7601.
BA 7055 Echo Zulu 7601 contact London Center on 118.475.
Okay, so we're getting the handoff now to London Centre, and we are in the climb.
118.475 BA 7055 Echo Zulu 7601.
No, we don't want Dunsfold, we want London Centre.
London Center BA 7055 Echo Zulu 7601 is at 5,100 feet, climbing 12,000 feet.
BA 7055 Echo Zulu 7601 London Center, continue to Maga as planned. QNH 30.36.
Right, so my flight plan says that we're on our way to Vuga now, and we should really be on our way to 24,000 feet. So what we want to do is to request 10,000 feet increase.
London Center BA 7055 Echo Zulu 7601. Request flight level 240.
BA 7055 Echo Zulu 7601 climb and maintain 12,000 feet. Expect flight level 240.
Okay, so we should get 2-4.
Climb and
So that's
maintain
good.
12,000 feet. Expect flight level 240 BA 7055 Echo Zulu 7601.
Okay, so we can do some checks while we're here. So let's have a look. And so we are checking that the flaps are up. If we could, we would tilt the weather radar down. Autopilot is on. Speed is, well, we are above, where are we now? 10,000. So we can go back here and select standard. Auto brakes are off.
7601 climb and maintain flight level 180.
Okay, so we'll acknowledge that. I wonder if we should
Climb and maintain
put this
flight
in
level
before
180
we acknowledge
BA
it.
7055 Echo Zulu 7601.
Okay, so we're heading 180 now. Right, so we'll check once again that the APU master is off. And we can have the nose light to off. Runway turning lights are off. And for passenger comfort, we'll get the packs back on for aircon. Anti-ice as required. So cabin crew will release. So I'm a bit late doing all these bits and pieces. ND range is set 40. Speed, well, we're okay above 250 because we're above 10,000 feet. Climb, I'd expect that. We're at what? 3,200 feet per minute. Barometer check standard we've done. Above 10,000 feet we can have the landing lights off as well. And retracted. Anti-ice as required, and we can unstrap the passengers. ND range is now set to 80 because we're well in the cruise now, or well in the climb anyway. And I'll be back with you shortly.
BA 7055 Echo Zulu 7601 climb and maintain flight level 240.
Climb and maintain flight level 240 BA 7055 Echo Zulu 7601. London Center BA 7055 Echo Zulu 7601. Request flight level tree 20.
BA 7055 Echo Zulu 7601 climb and maintain flight level tree 20. BA 7055 Echo Zulu 7601, did you hear my last transmission?
Climb and maintain flight level tree 20 BA 7055 Echo Zulu 7601.
BA7055 Echo Zulu 7601 contact Crest Center on 120.15. BA7055 Echo Zulu 7601, did you copy? BA7055 Echo Zulu 7601, did you copy? BA7055 Echo Zulu 7601, did you hear my last transmission? BA7055 Echo Zulu 7601 IFR flight plan is cancelled. Radar service terminated. Squawk 7000. Maintain VFR. Frequency change approved.
folks, so back with you now, and absolutely astonishing views of the clouds as we're just coasting in on the, I guess, northwestern coast of France. Absolutely amazing. So I used to fly X-plane, and I probably will get back to X-plane. And the thing for me with X-plane is that I used to have 3 monitors, and the immersion of having the 3 monitors is extremely good if you've never had that. But where Microsoft Flight Simulator wins is the fact that you don't have to get add-ons for all of these fabulous weather systems. And when we get into Lisbon, you know, it's going to look like Lisbon from the air, and it's just amazing that you don't have to add all those different bits and pieces. And just looking at this now, I mean, if we go back into the cockpit, we can see that there's a weather system below us, and if we look below us, you can see the tops of that weather system there. And I guess here as well, you can see a bit off to the right, and that all looks a little bit messy down there. So glad we're not actually inside at the moment. But yeah, this flight simulator is absolutely stunning. So here we are in the A320 on our way down to Lisbon. We are looking at the stats on top. We're about a quarter of the way, and we are quite comfortably in the climb. It is a climb at 32,000 feet, and we can do a few checks, which we should be doing as we kind of monitor our way down. First thing we should do is check the engine. So what we'll do, we'll go over into engine mode, and probably electrics, we'll check that it's charging, and we'll check fuel. So I believe, I'm not completely sure how to read this, but I'm reading this as we've used 1,220 kilograms, now 1,230, and we've got 8,180 kilograms remaining. So is that 17 hours of flying? It can't be, surely. Possibly. So we're possibly over fuel. So I think what we did, I probably took a bit too much fuel when I loaded up. So yeah, so we can see here our fuel on board is gradually going down, and we're in a good situation for fuel. We don't need to worry about that. And I think here, if we've got 628 miles to run, and the time now, where's the time? That's interesting. It's 17:08. There we are, 17:08, which is UTC, and I think it's showing us as arriving at 18:34. So about something wrong with the sound there. So about an hour and a half to go, and estimated fuel on board, it looks like we need 3.5, 3,500 kilograms, is it? Not absolutely sure. The music's getting a bit excited in the background. Let's turn that down a little bit. Right, so yeah, let's go back to the checklist and do a couple of bits and pieces. So, right, engines we've done. We can check the temperatures again. So everything's, the GT's running fine. Nothing to be alarmed about there. Ground spoilers armed. So, have we not done that? Let's have a look. Armed. There we go. So we haven't done that. So we should have done that. And the other thing we can do, let's just check here, what have we got? Yeah, so I don't understand that. I'm going to check that message. I don't know what that is. Bothers me when I don't know what these messages are. But never mind, we'll get to the bottom of that. It's all progress. And right, so we're in the cruise, and so we've checked the engines. What we haven't done is checked the oil. Where was oil? Pressures. Pressures are good. Hydraulics we don't see. Huh. I'm sure. Oh yeah, there's the oil PSI, of course it is. Right, that's good. So comms, we can just check the comms now as we're in the cruise. So we can tune breast. So it's always good. You see that it's a good reminder to have to check this because you don't miss anything, or there's less chance of you missing something.
Echo Zulu 760110 miles north of Campere. Request IFR to Lisbon. Ready to copy.
BA 7055 Echo Zulu 7601 is cleared to Lisbon Airport as filed. Squawk 0107.
Alright, so we'll check that we are still squawking 0107. Yep, all good. So now we can acknowledge.
BA 7055 Echo Zulu 7601 acknowledge last transmission.
I did, but I will again.
BA 7055 Echo Zulu 7601 cleared to Lisbon Airport is filed. Squawk 0107.
BA 7055 Echo Zulu 7601
Okay.
read that correct. Radar contact, flight level 320. Continue to KK and 09 turning and following heading 040 descent and maintain flight level 260.
Yeah, so we've got a conflict there where I'm saying that we should be 3.5 and they're asking for 2.6. So I think we'll stay as is, which will get a couple of radio messages, but that's fine. Right, so now what? Right, so follow heading 040. I don't think I want to do that. That would take me off the flight plan.
BA 7055 Echo Zulu 7601 acknowledge last transmission.
Okay, so we'll acknowledge that
Continue
and see what
KK
happens.
09 turning and following heading 040 descent and maintain flight level 260 BA 7055 Echo Zulu 7601.
Okay, right, so what were we going to check next? Okay, so something we should check periodically is to go down into, I think it's program, PROG, and check the GPS primary. So our accuracy is high, so we have high confidence that when we're looking at the map we are actually where we say we are. That's another thing we can do. And then we check on the flight plan that we are in between QPR and on our way to Ibisu, which we are, which is what we're seeing here, QPR, Ibisu. So accuracy is good on navigation and we do seem to be on flight plan. So this is all good stuff. Right, we can tick that off, and cabin temperatures we can check. A little bit hot in here, so we'll bring the temperature down a little bit as well. Okay, so that's our in-flight checks done. Now what we can do is...
Please expedite your descent to flight level 260.
Okay, let's play the game. Let's go down to 260, because otherwise they'll get a bit excited and we don't want that. So we'll descend down now. Which doesn't really make much sense, to be honest. But anyway, it's what it is. So we're well on our way, and we're over the Bay of Biscay, I believe now. So we'll take our descent down, and what we can do while that's happening is have a look at, let's go to the McDo, ATSU, AOC menu, and let's do a weather request just to see what the weather's actually like. And we'll send that, and we'll just wait to see our message come through here. So I need to have this as status, is it? Ah, here we go. It will show up here. Company message. There you go. So we can go back on to this menu, and we've got company messages and a new message here. And what we'll do is print that. Yeah, it's amazing, isn't it? I don't think you can actually see that printing. It's slightly off screen. So I'll do that. Pop that over there on the little piece there. Right, so the top part is Gatwick, which we know we've taken off from there. And it looks like it's about 16 degrees. And it's 3507 knots. So that's quite good. And the visibility is good as well. Let's just go back to my flight plan on SimBrief and just double check where we're gonna, which runway we're gonna come in, or which we're chalked to come in at. Runway 35. Well, okay, so we'll take that. So it's going to be runway 35, and it's going to be straight down the runway at 7 knots. So that's good. So we can get rid of this because we'll get another one later. So on our checklist, we would have probably made a note there. But what we can do now is go back to our flight plan. This makes no sense to go down to 180, but we'll play the game. It gives us a chance to play with the controls, doesn't it? So, okay. So we are descending down to 180. Yeah, I thought that would happen. Let's retry with the last flight plan.
A320 Echo Zulu 760142 miles south of Campere. Request Egkk to Lisbon. Ready to copy.
A320 Echo Zulu 7601 is cleared to Lisbon Airport as filed. Squawk 0107.
Yeah. It's a shame that doesn't seem to work. I might be doing something wrong, so.
Cleared to Lisbon Airport is filed. Squawk 0107.
Okay. Let's climb up to.
Radar contact flight level 240. Continue to K8 and 09 turning and following heading 040 descent and maintain flight level 180.
Yeah. So what we're going to do, because there's really no point in listening to that, we'll tune back to 121.9. And that will keep the radio chatter down a bit. So, right, good stuff. Right, let's have a look outside, see what's going on. So we seem to have got past some of that weather, and looking at the weather radar, it doesn't seem to be too much ahead of us at the moment. What we can do as well is go back and set the range to 320. It looks like we're pretty clear most of the way down now, by the look of it. Right, I'll be back with you shortly. Right, so I've just been looking at what we need to do for the approach, and I think we need to set the arrival for runway 35, which I think is a VOR DME, and we want the Zama 9C. There it is. So we can insert that. Now if we go back to our flight plan, we should have some additional, there you go. And we have between some additional routing, and we've got some constraints to look at as well. Alright, so what we need to do is work out our descent in a bit. So we've got plenty of time, so let's go back to a lovely view. Alright, so back with you now, and need to start thinking about the top of the descent and how we're going to do the descent. So, on the checklist that I've prepared, I've added a top of descent calculator as well. So let me just take you through that. And so what we have is, I've just done this because I want to come down to 4,000 feet, and to get to 4,000 feet I've put in the cruise altitude of 32,000 feet, which is where we are. The altitude I want to get to is 4,000 feet, but actually let's just go back to the FMCG, and we can see that my first point here, Zamax. So if I look at the Navigraph chart, it says that I need to be flight level 290 there, and 280 knots when I get to that point. So we can change that, and we can see the calculator working. So let's just go back there. So you can see there that I've got 4,000, and I'll change that to 2,900. And I'll put my rate of descent at 1,500 feet per minute, and my ground speed is going to be, I'm going to bring that down because I'm currently at about 430, but I'm going to bring that down to 350 because clearly I'm not going to be doing 430 knots when I arrive at Zamax, Examax, when I need to slow down to 280. So because we'll slow down on the way down. So why don't we put 350 in there? So it's a bit of a guess. And then we press the link to calculate it. Did it work? Yeah, okay. So it's going to take us about 19 minutes. And if we're going to have a rate of descent of 1,500 feet per minute, I need to start that 129 miles away. So, let's have a quick look in, get back in the aircraft. And we can see that we've got plenty of miles to run yet. So what we want to do is when Zamax is coming up on the, well, actually let's just change that. Let's zoom out on the navigation display and see. So that brings us down to 60 and then 180. So we're saying 129. Okay, so what basically when that 129, when Zamax is at 120, we hit the descent. So this is a challenge for me because on some of the other flights that I've done, you're welcome to go back and have a look, I've really messed up the descent. So that's why I've added the descent calculator. Let me just pull that up so it's just that on the screen so you can see. So the plan is when Zamax is on this curve and we're on 160, so 160, we'll put that in the descent, or just before the descent, and when Zamax is there, that's when we'll go back to idle. And start the descent. So yeah, okay, that's the plan. So in terms of the approach then, performance, I think. Next phase will be cruise, which we're doing now. And then after that we'll have descent. And we'll need to put the weather information in for the approach. So, but we can do some of this now. So we've got 1660 is for the missed approach, and the temperature was 15. when I check the weather, so we could do this, we can always change it. And it was 3507, I think, for the wind. Pop that in, and the QNH, I don't remember what that was, so I think we need to set 7,000 here. So can we do this? Because we don't need thrust reduction. Not allowed. Okay, let's do 7,000 in both then, because that's where we're going to climb to if we have a missed approach. And I really need to practice missed approaches, because I don't know what's going on with that really. It wouldn't be thrust reduction there, would it? It would be 1500. So my understanding of thrust reduction is that's for noise abatement and for different types of aircraft and different engines. So let's put in 1500 feet and 7,000 feet for now. Okay, so we need to do the QNH. We'll do this on the descent. We'll get the weather. It's on my checklist then. Let's just have a look at that. So look out the window just to make sure we're not upside down. There we go. Right, so I know that I need to program in the VOR of 114.8. So we do that by going to RadNav. And it's 114.8. Let me just check that. I'll go back to my chart. Okay. Just bring this up. And if anybody watches this and if you think it should be done different, better, because I'm just really a novice at this, so, and that's why I've done the checklist, is just to help me out. So you can see here that my ILS is not ILS, sorry, the VOR and DME. That, I think that symbol means it's a joint VOR DME. So we need to put in 114.8 for that into the McDo. There you go. And what it hasn't done is picked up the okay. Frequency for the ILS. Interesting. So I've done that. So I think it works off the VOR for this one. Not sure. Okay, we'll see. So how are we doing then? Let's have a look. And see how we're progressing. So we're over halfway. Jolly good. And we can start to look out for some of these points arriving on the 120. Let's go back to my checklist on the 120. It was 129, so that's fine. So when Zamax is on 129, what we can do is just wind in the range a bit, just to just extend the range, I mean. Okay, so we're about 220 miles away from Zamax at the moment, so that's all good. And we can now go back to our cruise checklist, and what we want to do is go sorry, I sneezed. Right, so the engine temperatures are good, oils are good, and comms, we should probably check in on the comms. We'll tune Madrid Center.
Madrid Center BA 7055 Echo Zulu 7601 is type Airbus A320 and 8 miles west of Asturias, flight level 320. Request clearance to transition Charlie airspace.
BA 7055 Echo Zulu 7601 Madrid Center. Squawk 0031.
Okay. And
BA 7055 Echo Zulu 7601 radar contact
There we go.
10 miles southwest of Asturias, flight level 320. Cleared through the Charlie airspace.
Cleared through the Charlie airspace BA 7055 Echo Zulu 7601.
it's a shame that we've got some cloud, so I think I'm actually flying real weather, which is quite brave for me. I normally fly clear skies at the moment till I get used to this. So we're heading Ubuppy. Jolly good. Oh, I know what we can do. Before I kind of got going, I tried to do. Where's that? I don't think it's going to work. Let's have a look. Video clips. Let's try it. We might get a dark screen for a moment. Oh, there we go. So I took some screenshots before I set off from Gatwick, and this is what they look like. This flight simulator is so awesome that you can take some screenshots like this. That's just awesome, isn't it? Absolutely awesome. So we'll come back to that, maybe do that again, and on the way in. And that's my kind of music that I've got for when I'm coming into land as well. So we'll definitely hear that again. So I think we had quite a bit of turbulence just now. We seem to be jumping around a little bit. You can see in the bit above the screen there, in the data bar that I've got, when that's jumping around, you can see how much it's actually fluctuating. So it seems to be moving around quite a bit. Let's have a look. Yeah, you can see there, look at that, look, jumping up and down. Is that 80 feet that's moving? Wow, look at that. I'm just panning down a bit with the drone. Right, so I'm just going to go and make a cup of coffee or a cup of tea to get ready for the descent, and I'll be back with you shortly. Okay, coming up to the top of descent very shortly. So what we're going to do is idle the throttle and see what happens. And we're going to be looking for a 1500 feet per minute descent.
BA 7055 Echo Zulu 7601 contact Lisbon Center on 119.55.
Going to 119.55 BA 7055 Echo Zulu 7601.
There you go. So my calculator reckons that we should be starting the descent at 129 miles. So I think that's about there. So let's come back to idle. And we can see the needle just coming down, so I think we might have to help that a little bit there. Just get that out of the way. And we want to come down 1500 feet per minute. Okay, so what have I not done? So 4,000 feet is what we want, isn't it? 2,900. That's really nice, that is. Okay, we can start to do a few checks now as we're in our descent. So basically our TCAS would be set to below. There you go, check. ATIS check. So what we need to do now is to get a fresh weather forecast. So let's do that. I don't think we can probably tune in to the weather. So what we'll do, we'll call it up on the MCDU. So it's there. Weather request for our destination. And send. And we'll wait for received messages to show as new. So we're currently descending through 18,000. It looks like we're going to be about right for Zamax. Here's our new weather. So we'll check that and print that. There you go, that goes over to our place there. So we need to go to performance, next phase, cruise, descent, and the QNH is 1025. So we'll input that, and we need to check our 0031 squawk is right. Yep, we're good, so we can acknowledge. Yeah, so if we go back to our performance page.
Squawk 0031.
And put that in there. Okay, that's good. Back to the menu. Have a look at our altitude.
Continue to KK and 09 turning and following heading 025 descend and maintain 14,000 feet. BA 7055 Echo Zulu 7601.
So ground speed is 290.
Echo Zulu 7601, you are
Right, so
1,600
the
feet below your
altimeter is
desired
set.
altitude. Climb and maintain 14,000 feet. QNH 30.25.
So I think we should do that and stick to the heights as asked. So let's, what we'll do. Oh,
BA 7055 Echo Zulu 7601, did you copy?
Climb and maintain 14,000 feet. BA 7055 Echo Zulu 7601.
not quite sure why we've got a BA number and an Easyjet number there, but never mind. In fact, I'm going to descend down to 10,000 feet. I know that'll be early. Right, now what we need to do now, I think, is re-engage the throttle to climb.
BA 7055 Echo Zulu 7601, please expedite your climb to 14,000 feet.
Lisbon Center BA 7055 Echo Zulu 7601 requests destination change to Lisbon.
BA 7055 Echo Zulu 7601 is cleared to Lisbon Airport as filed. Squawk 0031.
BA 7055 Echo Zulu 7601 cleared to Lisbon Airport as filed. Squawk 0031.
BA 7055 Echo Zulu 7601, read back correct. Radar contact 10,400 feet. QNH 30.27, continue to KKN 09 turning and following heading 030. BA 7055 Echo Zulu 7601, did you copy? BA 7055 Echo Zulu 7601, acknowledge last transmission.
Continue to KKN 09 turning and following heading 030 BA 7055 Echo Zulu 7601.
Echo Zulu 7601, please expedite your climb to 14,000 feet. A7055 Echo Zulu 7601, please expedite your climb to 14,000 feet. A7055 Echo Zulu 7601, please expedite your climb to 14,000 feet.
So whilst it's definitely not a proper approach, keeping the right altitudes and all that kind of thing, I love coming in and just having a look at the way Microsoft has mapped some of these things. Absolutely astonishing. I mean, look at that down there, the lights on the sports ground. That's amazing. And I'm not even running at full quality. It's incredible.
A7055 Echo Zulu 7601, please expedite your climb to 14,000 feet. A7055 Echo Zulu 7601, please expedite your climb to 14,000 feet.
So this, if all goes well, would be my first night landing. Certainly in, what I think, yeah, ever really, let alone doing it on a live stream. So fingers crossed.
A7055 Echo Zulu 7601, please expedite your climb to 14,000 feet.
So I think we can stay here. I don't think there's anything too hilly ahead of us. We could do is put the terrain on, I guess. We've got weather on. So terrain is this button here, isn't it? Which I think must override the weather. Yeah, okay.
BA 7055 Echo Zulu 7601, please expedite your climb to 14,000 feet.
So after you muppy, uniform Mike, uniform Papa India, we need to descend to 4,000 feet. So we've got plenty of time to go. Okay, because we can do a few more checklist items, so let's get those done. So we've got the ND range, navigation display range set, we can radios set, and we can have fasten seatbelts on. Landing lights can come on. Let's see if we can see the landing lights, shall we? There you go. Right, lights. Speed check. 250 knots, below 10,000 feet. Engine mode is set to normal. Engine mode is set to normal. So, in the range, we can notify the cabin crew, I think. We've still got the weather, so 3-5 at 7 knots, so it should be roughly the same. Scatter clouds at 3,800 feet. Just going to have to ignore the radio for a moment. Right, so barometer check, which is B1026. APU set is required, so we'll take those off, I guess, as we're coming into land. Spoilers armed. Auto brakes Set medium. And why we're it's because we're not on approach, I think.
BA 7055 Echo Zulu 7601, please expedite your climb to 14,000 feet. BA 7055 Echo Zulu 7601, please expedite your climb to 14,000 feet. BA 7055 Echo Zulu 7601, please expedite your climb to 14,000 feet. BA 7055 Echo Zulu 7601, please expedite your climb to 14,000 feet. BA 7055 Echo Zulu 7601, please expedite your climb to 14,000 feet. expedite your climb to 14,000 feet.
Alright then, so as we're starting to come up for the approach, we've got a few things to do. Auto brakes we need to set, but I don't think they're settable until we're in approach mode. Not sure. Either that or they've failed. So we'll have to come back to that. So flap set is required, so we don't need those at the moment. Nav ILS, pop that on. Perhaps that's what triggers us to be able to put the brakes on. No. Nope, it's not that. Okay, so on the overhead then we want taxi lights. So, did that go? Yeah, to take off. Okay. Runway turning lights on. So we've got location on, ILS check PFD. We haven't picked anything up yet, so perhaps we're not close enough yet to pick that up. Okay, we can bring in the arc a bit now. There we go, that's a bit clearer. Closer anyway, the range to our landing. Okay, cabin check. Go around altitude set. Speed check at 220. Approach mode not on yet because we haven't picked up the landing system.
PA-7055 Echo Zulu 7601, please expedite your climb to 14,000 feet.
Check the autopilot is still on. Yeah. Could press localizer to see if we can pick that up. I'm not quite sure why we haven't yet. Probably still because we're too far away. So our next waypoint then is under 7,000 feet and 220 knots. So we're 220 knots and 6,000 feet.
PA-7055 Echo Zulu 7601, please acknowledge.
Oh, I don't like this. Ah, damn. It's doing that thing where
PA-7055 Echo Zulu 7601, acknowledge last transmission.
it goes off.
PA-7055 Echo Zulu 7601, acknowledge last transmission.
That's so annoying when you get close to the place that you're looking to be at and then it loses the navigation.
PA-7055
Right,
Echo
okay.
Zulu 7601, ISR
Let's
flight plan.
take the autopilot
Cancel
off.
service terminated.
Keep the
Squawk
turn.
7000. Maintain VFR. Frequency change approved.
flight plan. And now direct to. This could all go terribly wrong. Let's go direct to. Okay, autopilot on. Look at the flight plan. Okay, we're on our way to PT 422, which is what we were hoping for. It still doesn't look right. This is such a shame when this happens. Right, I can't imagine this is going to work out well, but I'm actually going to hand fly it. So we should have the airport to our left, which we do. So we're keeping 220. Our next one is 180. So we go one stage of flap down. We're on our way down to 180. And we need to be below 5,000. Let's get out. Will it do that? No, we need to have the autopilot on for that. Okay. We're going to get so many noises in a minute. So we're at 180 and we need to be below 4,000 feet. Let's go nose down. Brakes to slow us down a bit. Don't need that because the speed's okay. And that's where we're hoping to end up, I think, somewhere over there. Okay. We're 180 knots, coming up to less than 4,000 feet. Actually, we're not at 180 knots, are we? We're faster. And get rid of the flaps.
2,500. 2,500. 2,500. 2,500. 2,500. 2,500. 100 above. Minimum.
Too low, terrain. Too low, terrain. Too low, terrain. Too low, terrain.
Don't sink. 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 Don't sink.
30,
Don't sink. Don't sink.
5,
Well, that just about does it. I think the parking at the end was a bit rubbish, but anyway, that's another flight. And at least we made it to the destination this time. Thanks for watching. Keep an eye out for the next one.